Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. We've got a big game coming up against Tottenham Hotspur at the weekend, and I'm joined by Sim from We Are Tottenham TV, Tottenham fan channel. We collaborated last season, we're collaborating again. We've done video on his channel, video on our channel, and he's got more preview content. If you want to go and check out his channel, link is in the description. Sim, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining me, mate.
Thanks for having me on, absolute pleasure.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to get into it. I've just done a video with you where we focused on Liverpool and maybe our approach and what's gone on since the last time we played you. So let's have a little focus on Tottenham Hotspur. How is the fan base feeling at the moment?
I think at the moment we're kind of on tenterhooks a bit. Look, we love the team. We love how the team's playing. We love what we've built since Pochettino's come in. It's just in the summer, it was kind of, a lot of fans obviously moving to the new stadium. We wanted like a big statement signing. We wanted something to show, we wanted the board to kind of show the fans that we were going to make that next step, that we were really going to invest in the team and really challenge. Listen, it didn't happen. But on the flip side, we did keep our best players. We kept Toby, who everyone thought was going to leave. And we kept Eriksen, Delios, they all stayed. So on that side of things, everything's a bit positive. Obviously, since the start of the season, we haven't played the best. We've had a decent start. We've won 3 out of the first 4. However, I don't think our performances have been that great, apart from maybe the second half against Man United. I think the fan base, we're still relatively happy at the moment. However, if things were to start slipping, I think you would see quite especially on Twitter, you would see quite a lot of negativity brewing. I think it's tough to say. I think we're still in a good place for sure just because the team is quality. We still believe in this team, but I think how the board have handled things over the summer and especially with the new stadium is kind of just left a bit of a bad taste in the mouth.
What do you mean when you say like how the board have handled things over the summer? Do you blame the board for Tottenham's inactivity in the transfer window, or is it something else?
I think there were players out there that we could have got personally that would have improved the squad. Someone like Wilfried Zaha, someone like, I know maybe ambitious, someone like Adrian Rabiot, a sentiment like that. Also even a player like who joined Chelsea, like Jorginho, who they're playing Europa League football. I don't see why we can't compete with Chelsea for a player. So I do think there are players out there who could have improved the squad. The fact that they came out, I know Pochettino came out and said, if you can't get a player who can improve the squad, there's no point buying someone. Which I hear that argument, but it feels to me that there were players that we didn't push the boat out. So that's where the disappointment comes with it. In terms of the stadium, the board were adamant that it was going to be open for this game, actually, the Liverpool game. This was supposed to be the first game of New White Hart Lane. Now,
I thought you were a little bit scared that Liverpool might get the first win at your new stadium.
I don't think so. I don't think that was the issue. I think we did a season preview down the White Hart Lane. We go there actually quite regularly just to check it out. Me and my brother could see. We also heard from a number of very good sources inside who have quite a lot of knowledge in the stadium that it was never going to be ready for that. It was never going to be ready for this game. It was always going to be delayed further. And the fact that they said it was going to be this game, even though in my opinion they knew it wasn't. So, and the fact that they kind of upped the season ticket prices, like nearly, in some cases nearly doubled from where it was last season. And at the moment we're paying prices for the new stadium, and we're paying it for Wembley, and it's not great in terms of how it looks to the fans when the board keeps saying it was going to be ready for this day and there was delays, and everyone, even we could see it wasn't going to be ready, but they kept insisting it was. And they were doing things like there was a ticket scheme for cup games, and they were selling that all the way up until the day before that they announced there was going to be delays. And they were selling that scheme, they were selling it as being in the new stadium. That's how they were selling it. So those kind of things just makes it feel like they're not treating the fans right in terms of how the stadium is going.
I can imagine it must feel like it leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
It does. It doesn't look right. It doesn't seem right, which is where the frustrations come in. However, we do understand as fans as well. We're all understanding that there are delays. They happen. All right. We're not so angry that we're not going to be moving in until it doesn't. We know. To be honest, no one knows. Looks like now at least December. Probably further, probably we're looking at 2019 now, but it just leaves a bit of a bad taste in the mouth how they've dealt the whole situation. There was just a bit more transparency, it would have been fine. But the fact that they were just waiting so long to announce these delays and they keep selling tickets in that they were going to be in the new stadium, then turning out as not going to be in the new stadium, just doesn't sit right with a lot of fans. And I can imagine.
I'll tell you what. Let's focus a little bit on the team. Then I think everybody knows that Liverpool spent big in the transfer window. Tottenham didn't spend any money, but they didn't lose any players. We're coming off an international break. We're coming off a summer where there's been a World Cup. I don't think any of the top teams in the league are really firing on all cylinders right now. It feels like they're very much still in pre-season mode, trying to build that fitness levels up to be able to last the rest of the season. But you've got a couple of injuries. I think Hugo Lloris is going to be out for this game, isn't he? Yep. Sissoko is going to be out with a hamstring injury. Dele Alli looks like he's going to be out for this game now as well. Are you a little bit worried entering into the Liverpool game because of that?
I think I'm worried in terms of that our weakness. I think what we've struggled since the start of the season is our defence has not looked the same as it did last season. I know it's only 4 games in, so it can't read too much into it. And obviously we did keep a clean sheet at Old Trafford, although if Lukaku had a right foot, we probably would have conceded at least 2 goals. The worrying thing is, obviously, Liverpool look dynamite at the moment. Not every game, but obviously they're front three. You have to fear them. And the fact that our defence has looked quite open so far this season has got to be something to be worried about. In terms of the injuries, I'm not too worried about Dele Alli being out. Obviously, he's a big player for us, but we have people I think who can come in. Harry Winks, I think, has a good chance of coming in, or someone like Wanyama. I think we have replacements there. And someone like... And obviously, Lloris is injured, so Vorm's going to come in. I remember Vorm having a man of the match performance against Liverpool a couple of years ago. So it's not the end of the world. Obviously, I prefer Hugo Lloris in. But just the way that our defence has looked so far this season is the worrying part. I think we can hurt you going forward. I think we've got the players, especially Lucas, has looked great so far this season. So I think we can hurt you going forward. But at the back, that's why I do worry. I'm not sure whether we're going to play 5 or 4. I think we're going to play 5. So I'm...
How did Tottenham beat Liverpool? What do you think is the chink in the armour maybe for Liverpool that you'd be looking to get a competitive edge in, or how are Tottenham going to beat Liverpool in this game?
I think we have to win that midfield battle. I think the midfield battle is going to be absolutely crucial in this game, because if we can cut off the supply to Salah and to Mane and to Firmino, that's going to be the most important thing. I think if we let your midfielders play, I think that's where we could be in trouble, especially because we're a team that like to press. We don't usually sit deep. So if we can get on the front foot in terms of in that midfield, if we can stop that supply to especially Salah, I think that's where the game could be won. If we can, because obviously you guys also like to press high up the pitch, and if we can kind of win the ball quickly and kind of get it to Lucas, getting him in behind, and that's where they think a lot of the game was won at Wembley, getting in behind your defence, getting that paid balls. Son at that time, but it looks like it'll be Lucas this time, and especially just making sure that when a Liverpool player has the ball, they just don't have any time on the ball. Make sure they get in there quickly and don't get those passes in behind. That's where the game will be.
Flip side, if Liverpool's to win the game, how do you see it going down?
I think we can struggle sometimes when teams, especially like Liverpool, when they press us high, they press us back in return. I think that we can struggle sometimes a bit against teams, because Liverpool obviously have supreme quality, especially going forward. So if you win the ball high up the pitch, and especially if we play someone like Dyer, who has a tendency to kind of dawdle on the ball against teams who like to press, he can get caught off a couple of times. I'm not sure if he'll play, but also like players like Dembele, who against teams like Liverpool can sometimes struggle when he gets pressed high. That's why I feel like Liverpool can really get at us, and if they can get us pressing hard up the pitch, that's where we will struggle, in my opinion.
What do you think why do you think these games have been so close since Pochettino and Klopp came in to manage the respective clubs?
Because I think the way both teams play is fairly similar. I think both teams are very good at passing the ball around, and very hard to get the ball off both teams, I think. And I think that we both like to press high up the pitch. So it gets very congested in centre midfield. So pretty much neither team has time on the ball pretty much when they get in there. So it's kind of a bit of pinball and see where the ball comes out in some respects a lot of the time. And I feel like, especially I think Spurs are slightly more defensively minded than Liverpool in that respect. So I feel like Spurs, in that respect, they're a bit more solid at the back. So in Liverpool's kind of attack-minded formation, we can kind of stifle them a bit more. And I think that Spurs, attacking-wise, aren't as good as Liverpool. So when we go forward, we're a bit more easy to deal with than Liverpool, I feel. So that's why I feel like the games are a bit tight.
What about, so let's talk about some of the key matchups. I think rightfully, I imagine Tottenham fans will be looking at it and going, Harry Kane against Joe Gomez. That could be an area where Harry Kane gets an advantage. Personally, I think Joe Gomez has been outstanding so far this season, but clearly we haven't come up against a striker in anywhere near in Harry Kane's league yet. Is that a matchup where you think the game could be won or lost?
It's going to be, obviously, there's a lot being made out. A lot has been made out of Harry Kane's form, obviously, since his injury last season, and whether he's the same player. He has got 2 goals so far this season. He hasn't looked amazing. It hasn't looked, I think, as sharpest, but I still feel like he'll give Joe Gomez a lot of problems, I feel. Obviously, as you said, he's had a great start to the season. He started for England in midweek. He looked good there. I like Joe Gomez, especially all he's been through, his injuries, coming back from it, fighting back. I mean, he's a good young player, and I think he's one for the future. But I'm hoping Harry Kane, these are the kind of matchups, physical matchups that he really likes. He likes to get in defenders' faces. He likes to press them high. He likes to make sure they have no time on the ball. And Gomez is a young player. We'll see how he deals with it. But it's definitely going to be the toughest test he's had for sure this season. And maybe the toughest test he's ever had. But I'm hoping Kane can get the edge there. Maybe, hopefully his movement will be the difference.
And flip side then, if there's a matchup from our front three against one of your defenders that you think will play, which will be the key one?
Well, it's a tough one. Obviously, I think your wingers, I think you could pick either of them. I think because our fullbacks are so attacking-minded, I think the space in behind the fullbacks, we could struggle a bit there, I feel, especially with Salah. Depending whether Davis or Rose plays, I think if Davis plays, he could really struggle against the pace of someone like Salah. He's had previous for struggling against forwards with extreme pace. So if that was to get a situation where Salah was one-on-one with Davis, I would be fearful there. In terms of Trippier, he's actually got quite a good record against pacey wingers. I think people like Sanchez and Hazard, he can deal with them quite well. Mane might be a different kettle of fish because he's a bit more direct, I feel, than those forwards that I mentioned. But Trippier, I feel like if he can get in behind Trippier, we could struggle a bit there. But I think the main one I would want for
he's tended to change his game a little bit, Sadio Mane, and he's not sort of that burst you down the wing type of a player this season. And even at points towards the end of last season, he's starting to sort of drift inside and pick up the ball in the number 10 area of the field. And if that's the case, who will it be that he's coming up against? Will it be someone like a Dembele, or do you expect to see Wanyama or Dyer in this game?
I have a feeling Dyer's going to come in. Also seeing that Dele's injured, I think Dembele has to play just because I know I said he can sometimes struggle against teams like Liverpool, but I think his ball retention is going to be needed in this game. We're going to need times where we hang on to the ball. So I feel like he'll be against Dyer. He's going to come up against if he cuts inside, which obviously leaves space for whoever's coming on the left. But Dyer is a good defensive midfielder. He has his faults. I don't think he's perfect. He's kind of jack of all trades, master of none, Dyer. That's how I feel about him. So if Mane is coming up against someone like Dyer, if I was Mane, I would fancy his chances. I'm not going to lie. I think Mane is probably the form player in the Premier League at the moment, even though he didn't win Player of the Month, which a lot of Liverpool fans weren't happy about. But that's who I feel like he'll be coming up against.
Cool. A final question for you then. Score prediction for the weekend.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. I can see quite a few goals in this game. I know Liverpool's defence has improved, and I know Spurs' defence has been lacking a bit. But I feel like we've got the tools to hurt you. I think Lucas has given us a bit of a new dimension in this game. And obviously Son's coming back now from the international break. He's going to be a very good option off the bench, just with Lamela as well. I think we're going to play that 5-3-2 formation that we played against you at Wembley last season. And I think that's a formation that could be good to counteract your strengths.
Cool. And everybody knows mine from watching the build-up show. It's 2-1 to
Yeah.
Liverpool. Sim, listen, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Cheers,
So it's been an absolute pleasure doing both the show on your channel, We Are Tottenham TV. Again, link in the description to that video. Go and check it out. There's loads of preview content. There'll be loads of review content from outside Wembley as well. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for subscribing. And if you haven't, do hit that subscribe button. It does help us out. We're on the road to 300,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and you won't miss any of our content moving forwards. Once again, Sim, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on the Redmen TV.
Cheers. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on, man. Cheers.
Cheers, man.